Dear Dr. Quivik and Dr. Wagner, I'm standing here in my church where I work in Höllviken, and I will try to give you my sermon from the 11th of October in English. I start with reading from Matthew 15:21 to 28. Leaving that place, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Canaanite woman from the vicinity came to him, crying out, "Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is demon-possessed, and the suffering is terrible." Jesus did not answer a word. So his disciples came to him and urged him, "Send her away, for she keeps crying out after us." He answered, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel." The woman came and knelt before him. "Lord, help me," she said. He replied, "It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs." "Yes, it is, Lord," she said. "Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." Then Jesus said to her, "Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted." And her daughter was healed at the moment. The other text is from Luke 19:37 to 40. When he came near the place where the road goes down to the Mount of Olives, the whole crowd of disciples began joyfully to praise God in loud voices for all the miracles they had seen. "Blessed is the King who came in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in the highest." Some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, rebuke your disciples." "I tell you," Jesus replied, "if they keep quiet, the stones will cry out." A friend of mine had some really difficult times during her teenage years. And many times she ended up in situations with people who hurt her. And she told me, "I say no every time. I say no, but no one listens to me and respects my will." We live in one of the world's most free and equal countries. It should not have been like this for her, and it should not be like this now. But still, to be honest, we know that girls are called whore, even though they are not. We know that boys who cry are called fags, although that has nothing to do with tears. And we know that a lot of young people are so used to watch porn that they think that pain and violence is a natural part of being together. We know that every day we find at least one article in the news that tells us about rape and violence, mainly against women and children. And we know that there are many who find the courage to raise their voices, to say no, no, no. But we also know that many of them will not be listened to. They will be mocked and offended, and in the end, they will be deprived their voices once and for all. Today is the Day of the Girl. It was founded in 2011 by the UN to pay attention to the exposed situations of girls all over the world. To be twice discriminated because of age and gender, to be divorced or not even given the right to decide over their body, their life, their future. To know that the most dangerous thing in this world is to be born a girl. It should be a matter of course that every child shall be valued equally and not be limited to the expectations of their gender. To be able to trust that whenever I or anyone else raise my voice, I will be taken seriously and my will be respected. Today's gospel is many hundred years from our time, long before there even was a day of the girl. What takes place in it should feel ancient, but unfortunately it doesn't. This woman by the Mediterranean coast, we don't even know her name, is in a nightmare situation. Her daughter is sick, and she herself cannot help her. A sick girl is not worth much in the eyes of other people, but to this woman, she means the world. And she cries for help, although she is being ignored, totally bitch-glanced by the disciples, grossly insulted and even called a dog. She does not give up. She is so incredibly brave, this woman, and she will not be silenced or reprimanded, not even by Jesus, who quite frankly seemed to have a really bad day. This woman, she walks straight across nationality, sex, gender, class, or expected behaviors, and she blocks the way for Jesus with her cries. Because this is about her daughter, and what will we not do for our children? But I think that her courage depends on one more thing. I think that she knows who God is and what God can do. God has touched her heart and shown her that God is a God who sees and loves people, all people, who makes the broken complete and manageable, who turns exclusion into community, and who forgives also the most complicated. And it is like this assurance, this safety, this belief gives her the courage to stand up and find the power to those words that gives answer to speeches. Those words that finally makes visible the love of God in Jesus. And when that love breaks through, Jesus can no longer neglect or question her, not deny or turn away. He can just be God, the one who releases people from destructive powers and oppression, the one who hears the cries from all over the world, the one who heals with love. To raise your voice, but realize that it's not acceptable. To urgently ask for help because all other options are out, but be ignored. To stick to what you deep down in your heart know is true and right, but be ridiculed. That does something to you, right? To raise your voice and to say no but not be listened to try to express your own opinion and will but be mocked or get mean commentaries, to have your personal boundaries violated and exposed to violence, that does something to you, right? The risk is that you stop bringing new courage to raise your voice again. Yes, as a matter of fact, often, very often, you become silent. Your words fade away, and your faith and will turn into doubt and resignation. Slowly but surely, you start to absorb the truth the world seemed to send out. You are less worth than everybody else, and your voice do not count. Another woman from our time who also was very brave over and over again was Milada Horakova, a Czech politician who was executed by the communists in the 1950s. Because of her fight for freedom, democracy, and women's rights. Her husband once asked her, "Does it have to be you who changed this world?" "Yes," she answered. "Because I want to believe, to force myself to believe that this world will be as it should be. But as long as we are not free, our daughter will not be free. And I can't stand the thought of that." Life requires a lot from us, and our strength and our commitment should be enough for so much. Family, friends, work, school, free time, and some rest. And more than once, I think we all have thought, how will I be able to cope? Where will I find my strength? But I am convinced that God doesn't just see our struggle. God is also in the middle of it, because God knows that we need to have God with us, otherwise we won't make it. God is there, right beside you. Don't ever forget that. And I think that God gives us love, happiness, strength, whatever we need and long for to be able to participate in this life, as well as forgiveness, restoration, and justice. But, and there always seems to be a little but, what God gives us is not ours to keep. We have to share it with each other, because God can never, ever accept violence, abuse, and violations. Never accept that we give people different value. We live in one of the world's most free and equal countries. We have opportunities and rights that other people can't even dream of. Sometimes, my friends, sometimes it has to be us that stands up for this world and for human dignity. It has to be us that saves each other and take the fight for the weak, for the one who has been deprived of their rights, for the one whose will is not respected. Sometimes it has to be us, you and me, who cry out when people are being silenced and oppressed. It has to be us who give voice to those who has been denuded their own. It is not about stones, it is about us, we who are here together. And we and our voices can make a difference in this world, and we can make sure that in the future, being born a girl is no longer the most dangerous thing in this world. If we do not raise our voices, then who will? And if we don't do it now, then when?